I used to cook virtually zero of my meals. Um, Maybe once a month I would cook, but now I'm cooking probably like 11 out of 14 meals a week. I think I lost about 40 pounds. I feel a lot more satisfied. I feel not hungry all the time. I used to be hungry all of the time. It does feel like a relief. It feels like I'm taking care of myself better and not always focused on food. I think just how much the food is still tastes really good. It was probably the biggest surprise. You know, I think sometimes like on Weight Watchers or in the past, I would just choose more like plain foods. But in this class, everything tastes good and it's healthy at the same time. I made the chocolate peanut butter crisp bar or something like that. And it was really good. And I have it on hand if I want something for a special occasion.
Cool.
And it's great that you have those recipes because I wouldn't want to give up sweets entirely.
I think a lot of people think when they start like a healthy or like they're on a diet that they have to be deprived and they're going to be cranky and grumpy and I have to do this. And it wasn't like that. I was surprised at how much I really enjoyed it. I mean, I really was excited to see the new recipes and I liked the feedback that you got and looking forward to what we were going to make.
Nice.
You know, looking forward to the different recipes. Weight loss is always the forefront for me. I've lost about 80 pounds over the last 8 years. Some of it not always the healthy way. So I really wanted to focus on healthy eating. I wanted to have more energy and feel better. And also open up my palate to trying different foods because I kind of was in the rut of eating kind of the same thing, doing it the same way. I was trying to do it mostly, of course, for me, but for my husband because he eats horrible and he has medical problems, very overweight, high sugar. He has diabetes, but he didn't have his sugars in control, cholesterol, blood pressure, a lot of snacking and eating foods that triggered him to eat more food, a lot of carbs and sugars and stuff. He just had his sugars done and his AC1 are down dramatically. His blood pressure is good. He's lost, I think he's down about 13 or 14 pounds now. And just overall feeling good and having more energy.
Wow.
And really using food as medicine. You know, really, it's the proof is in the pudding. If you just do it, it will work. And it wasn't hard. It was easy to do. They're not crazy recipes, so it's not like I had to go and buy a bunch of different spices. And it was like stuff I already had in the house and can reuse things for different. So it was. I think you're onto something here. It's healthy for you, but if you don't like it like this, and throw it in a smoothie and eat it. You know, like beets. Yeah. Beets was one of the foods that I hadn't really been on my forefront, but when we had sliced them and put them in the oven and made them almost like a chip, it's like I can do this. Okay.
Nice.
So different ideas were good.
So Jack in the Box, Carl's Jr., and McDonald's are all within a block of where I live. So very convenient for me. So I'm very proud to say that I haven't stopped at night since I started the program. I look at food differently now, more for, this is going to help heal my body and fill my need versus what can I eat fast and what will give me the quickest boost of energy. So I'm looking at food differently. And the other thing that I don't do anymore is beat myself up. Like when I went and gave in to the burger and fries that I wanted, I normally would have just trashed myself and that had been the end of whatever diet I was doing because, it's a horrible thing that I just did. But I haven't had that problem since I've done this. I'm like, okay, I'm going to accept that I'm going to do this, and it's okay. I'll move on, and this is not the end of the world. So it's a much better mindset. That was a really wonderful part of the program, was the mindset stuff. I love the support that you gave, the answers that you gave, and you answered everybody, and I love the support. The information is wonderful, and the recipes are wonderful, and really great information. But I think for me, you were key. Once I started cooking, I got more into it, and I've started going to my farmer's market, and I'm buying healthier local food. And so roasting was my favorite week, and I roasted a ton of stuff. I did really, really well with roasting. And I think my favorite was the pork with the chicken and the apples. I loved it. My blood pressure had dropped pretty significantly, so that was nice. I'm back, in very normal ranges. But they were good enough a couple of times that they talked about, I'm medicated for it, obviously, and I take it twice a day, but they're talking about pulling me back to once a day again because I've done so well with it. I don't do the cold well with the arthritis, and I've had a lot less pain this round than I'm used to, taking a lot less medication. So that was nice. I'm doing really great now, so I'm thrilled with the results I got.
My husband and I both work full time. We have pretty big commutes here, and the kids are off in all directions. Soccer and dance and everything when we get home every night. So we were at a point where we were eating out pretty constantly, and I don't mean a couple meals a week. I mean like practically every meal was eating out, or at maybe frozen food for breakfast and then eating out for lunch and dinner. So that's where we were. But I would say that after taking the class, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable in the kitchen. I feel better about my abilities in the kitchen, and I feel better about the things that I'm offering my kids. And there's definitely been a reduction in the amount that we're eating out. But I really can't emphasize how much I feel like the videos and like the, I don't remember what they were called, but kind of the how-to document and then the video that you would do afterwards just really reinforced everything. I think people who know how to cook can't imagine how much difference that video makes, because there are things that you would never ever think to tell me that I would do wrong, but I see you do it, and then I'm able to do it correctly. And that's just, I just needed to be told that once, but nobody knew I needed to know that. But I would love to tour my kitchen and show you all the things that I did because of this class. After the first week, we went to the Container Store and got one of their drawer sets and built a smoothie station in our kitchen. So we've got the Vitamix on top of it, and then we've got like our seed mix that we made, and other mix-ins that we might use with it. And then the drawer under that has like almond milks and some juices and stuff. So we've got like our smoothie station there. And I'm growing herbs in my sunroom now. So I've got a couple going. I still want to get some more going, but I've got a few herbs that are kind of peeking out and growing in my sunroom now. And I laminated a lot of the material that was like prompts on how to do things. So we've got like the cooking oils and the grain how-tos and everything. I laminated those and then stuck them on the insides of my cupboard drawers. So if I need to remember how to cook wild rice or something like that, I can just open up my drawer and be like, oh yeah, this is the ratio and this is how much to use. But it's not, strict rules to follow. So it's setting you up to be able to do something for yourself. Weird, everybody uses the metaphor, but it's teaching you how to fish or how to cook for yourself as opposed to, pretty much anything else. I've never done anything like it, so I don't even know how to compare it to anything else. I think, for me personally, I really like the strawberry oatmeal smoothie. I never in a million years would have thought to put oatmeal in a smoothie, and even when I read it, I still thought, I don't know. But I made up a bunch of them one week, and that was in the batch, so I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. And it was really good. It was just one of my favorite. I feel like I'm having dessert, but I'm getting oats and strawberries, and that's my personal favorite. For my family, I think the biggest thing that we've eaten pretty frequently already that's been amazing to me has been the baked chicken. So to bake a whole chicken with just like some vegetables with it, like potatoes and carrots we do a lot of times. It's pretty amazing to me how relatively easy that is. I made that over Christmas break, and I cannot tell you how skeptical my husband was about eating something called living root salad. And but I persevered, and I got it, and I made it, and he tasted it, and he loved it.
A huge thing that I did see was my insulin dosing that I take actually decreased. When I eat out or I eat highly processed food, my blood sugars can hit like really high levels, but I notice like if I'm eating my own homemade food, they do not go as high as much, and I have better control with less insulin that I use for it. That's a huge thing in management of diabetes. It's been pretty incredible, but definitely changing. Yeah, life-changing. So before this program, it's very easy to describe. I ate out all the time. And when I mean all the time, it was every day at least one meal came from a restaurant or a fast food chain, or like we just did not cook. So after the program, I have definitely picked up cooking a lot more. Probably like 75%. I mean, it's drastic. We don't go out very much.
Wow.
Maybe once or twice a week. And then the money that we save is just... I mean, I have way more than enough for groceries. I mean, it's really amazing how much we've saved going out. I save I was looking at it the other day, and it's around $1,500 a month. I love it. I'm very, very happy cooking. I'm just in there. Even my mom commented, she watched me cook one weekend. She's like, this is amazing. She's like, you're an amazing cook. Like, she never thought she would actually see me cook. Watching you in your kitchen, it just, maybe it's just me, but it felt more real. Like, it wasn't staged. And you could see, like, you had all this. It was inspiring. It looked like a real kitchen, not a TV set. So I felt like, if she can do it, I can do it. I don't need to be a superstar chef to know how to cook. And about the program, the mindset part, I think is what I've been missing most of my life. And I feel like that just kind of lifts away this guilt and this, negative relationship that I had with food. The biggest surprise for me was actually on Christmas. My mom was having a big gathering, and she got the flu like 2 days before Christmas, and it was me and my brother that cooked for 25 people. Yeah, so the biggest surprise for me is that I cooked for more than 2 people, and I was confident, and it was great. It was fun. I was very confident, I knew what I was doing, and learning how to, when we did the roasting and baking, you can do 3 dishes all at once. You just have to know how to time it. I mean, it was amazing. I was so surprised. At the end of the day, everybody gave compliments, and at the end of the day, I was like, I did it. I did it. My favorite dish, which is probably... It would have to be one of the breakfast dishes, and it was so easy, and to be quite honest, I've been very intimidated by it. It was the egg muffins.
Nice.
Yeah, and those have made such a difference for me. I mean, it was my favorite because, one, it was super easy to make once I did it, and then I freeze them, and I take them to work with me, and it's been really, changing at work for me. So my lunches and dinners, I do big batch stuff. So the chili was one thing. I cannot believe I did this, but I made homemade marinara sauce because my husband and I love Italian food. And I mean, when I actually ate it, my husband, or myself and my husband, we were like, this is oh my gosh. And we were blown away by how different it tasted from jars. I mean, we were blown away. I was like, this is amazing. I was reminded of when I visited Italy. The smoothies are amazing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we eat smoothies almost every day. Amazing, nutritious, and life-changing.
I said, like, on Weight Watchers, like, I used to count out raw almonds, like raw, unsalted almonds, super healthy snack, and I was eating like 5 because like 5 to 7 equaled like a point. And you were like, that's the saddest thing I've like ever heard. Like, unless you're like a chipmunk or a bird or something, a squirrel, like, that's a ridiculous snack. And so kind of being like, okay, well, what, like, with this program, I can eat real food until I want to, and just knowing that if you're making the right choices, you can feel empowered by it. And you don't have to rely on 100-calorie packs, which don't do anything. I've just gotten so much joy out of it, and it feels so freeing. And like eating, like going to the market and buying full-fat yogurt, or like getting to enjoy a cookie and knowing that I'm not like ruining myself, but really like deciding, making a proactive choice that I'm going to enjoy it and it's worth it. It's a good cookie. Actually, I had a friend today be like, you've lost a lot of weight. And I'm like, really? To have my pants buttoned, like not feel pain when my pants are buttoned, was a huge goal of mine. And that I feel like is amazing. But again, like I've noticed that my stomach is a lot less puffy, and the bloating is, for me, bloating is a huge problem. And the bloating is much less. I was always like a major recipe follower, like a pinch of salt. What is a pinch of salt? It would drive me crazy because I would get paralyzed on a pinch of salt. I feel so much more comfortable cooking now. I mean, I'm like really cooking. Oh yeah, my husband is like the happiest guy in the world with the program. Like last night, I made this salmon, and I baked potatoes. So he had a plate that was like the rainbow. It had the baked potato with the salmon, and the salmon got this beautiful like crust on it. A caramelized crust. So it was the potato, the salmon, the zucchini, and the carrots. And my husband literally, he's been like clapping. He's like, yay! He loves it.
I was actually surprised to see that the whole section on desserts, because desserts is usually this like sugary stuff that you should never eat. And the fact that there's a whole week dedicated to nice desserts that are actually good for you and that it's okay to eating them, that was really the best thing. It's not dogmatic at all. I mean, it's not like, oh, you're eating all these bad things, you're such a bad person. And what I really felt was, I can still eat meat, I can still have my coffee in the morning, I can still have all that stuff, but with little tweaks and with knowing what to do better, I can actually do the same thing, but it's going to be just more healthy, smarter. I definitely feel that I go through the day with a better energy level in terms of I'm not getting hungry as much. I mean, it's a humongous motivator to look at your videos and see how you're like chopping up the stuff and putting it in the bowl in front of you. And after just like 3.5 minutes, there's this amazing food that you can enjoy, and it's been really good.